Welcome back to the Investor Professor podcast. This is Dr. Ryan Peckham, and this is episode 165. On today's episode, Cameron and I are back from the London Marathon, so we are going to do a London Marathon breakdown, discuss the highs and the lows. We'll throw in some market commentary here, but we're really going to discuss chasing personal goals and how difficult that can be, but how sweet it feels when you accomplish it. So, as always, get your mind right and let's get to work. Well, welcome back to the show, everybody. I'm joined once again with Cameron. We are a couple days removed from the London Marathon. I've been back since Monday. We ran it Sunday, and you've only been back like 2 days. You stayed and hung out a little bit.
I did some adventuring in London.
After the marathon.
After the marathon, yeah. I think I walked on average like 9 miles a day, just looking around London.
That's awesome. So what did you think? What did you think of the race? So you've done, just so people know, Cameron, how many half marathons have you done?
4.
So
Yeah.
this was your first full.
First full.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Big difference. Huge difference. And you would think like, okay, it's probably that pain that you feel with a half times 2. No, there's an exponent variable to this because the miles from 20 to 26 is like just, you're in a place where you just want to finish and be done.
Yeah, it is definitely. I call it, and I posted a video on my the Instagram. I just call it the pain cave.
Yeah,
it's just you feel. I don't know. Do you feel like so isolated? Like nobody can help you. Like it's just you versus it's just you versus
I felt
you.
very like just linear. Like I was like, there's only one option here. Like we just got to keep running. That's it, and it's just gonna suck, and this is gonna be it, and you just got to accept it.
There is, but it takes a couple miles for that acceptance to come in. Because you're like, okay, this is going to get a little bit better.
There were some times I was wondering, like, am I actually going to finish this? Yeah, no, this one, and I think to your point, after talking to you after the marathon, I definitely could have done things a little better, especially with like nutrition and stuff on the front end. But yeah, there was mile 17. That was the first time I was like, damn, we got a while ahead of us. This is not even.
Yeah, I always think that mile 16, 17, where you still have like 10 miles to go, that is definitely like a Jedi mind trick. I mean, that is definitely, it's mentally hard to like, you've already ran 16 and you're like, man, I got 10 more to go.
The first 10 were good. I enjoyed the first 10 to 12 miles of the marathon. I was feeling real good.
Yeah.
But then my nutrition, everything was off. So I think after that, I started going downhill, and then you just spiral until you get to a point at like 23, maybe. You're like, okay, anybody can do 3.2 miles. Like anybody can do that. Okay. And then you kind of self-rationalize a little bit on the whole thing, and that makes it easier.
It is tough. Your first marathon is always hard. We did not set you up well as far as like, I mean, we go international, your nutrition gets off. A world marathon is a different day because it's so long to get to the start line. You're waiting for hours upon hours. I mean, most people don't realize like the London Marathon start for elite, which we're close to, but we're not elite.
Yeah, we're just a
little farther back. But elite runners start at 9:35.
Yeah.
And so, but we had to be on buses at 7 a.m. to get out there, and then you just chilling.
Waiting.
You're just waiting.
I was sitting on a tree stump.
Yeah, you're sitting on a tree stump.
And I had no water and no food, which was, and you got nothing out there. There's no water fountain.
No vendors. There's nothing.
Yeah, so you're just sitting there.
So you're sitting there for 3-4 hours. You're getting stiff. Like you said, you have no nutrition. It's such a different day than like when we run Fort Worth or whatever, and you have your same food. You roll out of bed. It's like almost like a training run. You know?
Yep.
So it does make it very difficult. We finished with over, I don't know the final number, over 56,000 runners.
Yeah, it's now the number one now.
Yeah, it did feel crowded. I mean, that felt like a lot of people. But I mean, these days are, it's such a cool thing. So what did you think of the crowd in London?
Oh, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So yes, it was hard. The marathon was difficult. I am so glad I did it 100%. And to anybody thinking about doing a marathon, and maybe it's a crazy one, it could be London, it could be Chicago, it could be whatever, just do it.
Yeah.
Because I was so happy that I did it right afterwards. And I was even happier coming back to Fort Worth thinking, wow, I just knocked that goal off. And it's like huge. For me, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
Especially like I've never been outside the country. So going to London. London's been a goal for mine forever. So way worth it. The pain is tough. You get through it. And then it's just so fun. But the crowd made it the best. I've never had a crowd like that. Like I've done the Austin half, done Fort Worth half. The crowd out there, you would have thought it was an NFL football game. People were tailgating. I saw beer bongs. People were getting hammered.
Yeah.
And it was just, and people were yelling out and they were so supportive. Like there was an older guy, and I told you this already, who I started, oh man, they were ruthless. I started walking, right? I forget what mile this is at, but I'm dying a little bit. So I'm like, I start walking right in front of this old guy, not thinking anything of it, right?
Yeah.
And he yells to me, he said, run quicker, you're going to get mugged.
That is so great. Yeah, the crowd there was unbelievable. It's definitely, and I've ran New York and stuff, and I've just never seen a crowd that is truly like that supportive. I mean, it was pretty amazing. I mean, like, and just the whole way, especially after so the way that they start the London Marathon, there's so many people that you start, like they give you colors and you start in different directions. And then about mile 4, I think we all come together. But once they come together, it is, I mean, it's literally crowds the entire way. But I will say that there's one part of that race where you go over Tower Bridge, which is beautiful and awesome. And then you're on mile 13 and you make this turn, and the people who are on mile 22 are on the other side they're on the other side of the street coming back towards you. That is so mentally, and you're just like, oh my gosh, like
I had no clue where they were at.
Yeah.
I thought they were like a mile ahead or 2 in front of me. And I'm sizing them up. I'm like, okay, I'm doing okay.
Yeah, I might be able to catch that guy.
Yeah,
I might be able to catch that guy.
No, nowhere near. And I was telling myself too, I was like, there's going to be a roundabout, probably a few hundred feet ahead. And then I'll start walking then.
And they're 8 miles ahead of us.
Oh my gosh.
They're 8 miles ahead of us. And it is like, you're just like, if I just jump the fence. And of course, I mean, they have all these, I mean, they track you. They have those trackers like every so miles, every so many miles.
And you can hear them tone. You hear the tone. When that started annoying me a little bit.
Yeah, you can hear them beeping to make sure they're counting you and stuff. But yeah, it is when you look across and you see, you're like, oh, they're almost done. They're almost done, you know. But it's I mean, it was a great day. The female, she set a world record for
2 hours 15 minutes.
2 hours 15 minutes. The guy ran in 2:02.
Yeah, that's how fast I ran a half marathon.
Yeah. It's really, it's unbelievable to think about how fast they actually run.
Yeah, I think that is, I can't imagine. I mean, you're at a full blown sprint the whole way. They have pacers, so that helps a little bit. But like, my gosh, I just can't. I can't imagine.
No, to keep that speed up. So I'm going to take y'all through Cameron's psychology here for the marathon. So, because this is what happens with like everybody when they run it. But Cameron, before we run, he's like, oh, I'm going to start signing up for these lotteries. Like I'm going to sign up for Chicago. I think I'm going to do it right now. Then we get done with the race and he's like,
what'd I say? You called me 20 minutes before I was about to finish, and then I finished, and I saw you miss the missed call, so I called you back. What was the first thing I said?
I can't remember. I hate I don't. Do you remember?
I said something like, I think I used
this was a
profanity.
terrible. Yeah, so, this is like.
I was like,
this was a terrible idea or something.
I was like, forget about that noise. Whatever this was.
Yeah, like I'm not doing this again.
This ain't the life.
Yeah, this isn't it. This isn't it or something. And like completely just drained, depleted. And then now it's like, okay, now I'm back on it. I mean, the feeling you get when you finish, I mean, it's kind of brutal, but then the euphoria. I will say, like, I mean, we're talking about some investment show here, but like Nike wasn't the sponsor of that marathon, but man, they won the marketing of that marathon. Like they had those cranes holding up those signs that said, like, one was, "You'll hate how much you love this," and then halfway through it was like, "How about another half?" And then a little bit later it said, "This is bloody tough, but you're tougher." And then at the end they had another billboard next to the London Eye, which is the Ferris wheel, that said, "Never again until next year," which is, they did such a good job of like the psychology of running through one of these.
So I looked into this yesterday. They are known for that. They are known for these big races. They won't pay. So New Balance is the sponsor.
That's right. Yeah,
and
the
they
title
paid
sponsor.
like some crazy amount of money.
Right.
Nike never does that. And they just have some crazy good marketing scheme. And years prior, it was just like, different colors on shoes to stand out, and different, just like crazy stuff. But they're known for that. They're really good at it.
I remember, like, I really noticed this, and when I did the podcast when I ran Berlin, Kipchoge was running Berlin. He was trying to break the world record, and they had a digital billboard, and I was in the middle of the race, and they changed the digital billboard, and it said, "The world just got faster," and I knew he broke the record.
Yeah.
And then they changed it mid-race. I was going, geez, man. I mean, that is just incredible. And I bring that up because obviously their stock hasn't been doing well and things like that. But I have to think that, like, the brand is so good that, like, I think that they'll come back at some point and they'll get some of this worked out. But it's just amazing to see, kind of how they've just they just customize everything to those races. It's just pretty incredible.
That kind of like marketing genius reminds me of Apple.
Yeah.
So it's there's a lot of companies that are in the S&P 500, like the top 500 companies that don't have that capability.
No.
They just don't. And
no.
They can't market that well.
There's another example this week. I forgot who I think it was. I don't know. There's a baseball player who hit a home run, and there was a Coors Light billboard out there, and he knocked the light out of the Coors Light sign.
No,
and
really?
they immediately made cans with that little blackout out, and had them sent out to that area selling them, which is pretty. I mean, just amazing, like little things like that. So, well, we're early in the year here, but that was a big goal of ours for the year. So how's it feel to just check that off?
Good. It feels good. I'm wondering what's next. So you made a joke, and it's totally true. You could tell your joke. It's pretty good.
Which one?
The Men in Black.
Oh yeah, I told Cameron, I was like, hey, the way that these things work is like, yeah, they're super tough, but then all of a sudden, you sleep a couple nights, and the Men in Black come by, and they zap your memory, and all of a sudden you say, all right, let's do another one.
Yep. I'm kind of in that spot right now, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to be able to do these. I mean, it's hard to explain. And it's a weird goal. I mean, like when I started trying to do these World 6 marathons, we got 4 of them now, or I have 4 of them. I just have Tokyo and Boston left. But we met a friend there, a guy named Robert that we've known for years, that my wife and I have known for years. And he actually got his 6th star in London.
It was cool.
And that was pretty neat to see. Like, I was really happy that we were there to see him do that, because it's not like you can, achieve this goal in a year. It takes years to be able to do this. And that was kind of the whole point. And what I've talked about on the podcast is, like, I didn't set out to do it wasn't, that's a terrible way of saying it, but like, it's not really about running the marathons. It's more about having an anchor goal that I knew was going to take me multiple years to achieve, which would force me to stay in shape for a number of years to be able to put myself in a position to do it.
But the key to that is, like, you pick the target. Like, that's your target.
Yeah.
There was no, like, because you can be like, okay, I want to, go sub 3 or something like that. That's a big target usually.
Yeah.
But that's pretty tough. Having the goal, the target of, like, I'm going to do these 6.
Mm-hmm.
It's tough, but it's not like there's nothing. The only difference between you not getting it and getting it is, like, are you going to show up consistently?
Right. It's all about consistency.
There's no, like, you could finish a marathon in 5 hours, right? Which is like what we did. So you do that, right? And you're going to get the 6.
Right.
So it's just showing up.
Yeah. And it takes time, because it takes time to get into the races. I mean, you'll see the lottery for London close today, and I'm sure there's probably 900,000 people that tried to get in or trying to get into the race for next year.
I signed up for that lottery before I ran the actual marathon. Like I got in a vacation, I think the day before, and I was like, I fell in love with London. I love London so much. And I was like, I'm coming back every year.
Yeah. So if you get in, would you do it? Would you do it?
Oh, heck yeah. Dude.
Yeah.
100%.
I didn't realize it was closing at noon because it said today was the last day, but I was thinking our day, not, but 6 hours ahead. So that's okay. So how does it frame out the rest of your year? Like already having this big goal kind of checked off?
I definitely feel the momentum. I feel it. I feel like that's key because this is the second year that we've done something where like physical, like, cause the year prior it was running the Fort Worth,
the Cowtown. Yeah.
The Cowtown.
Yeah.
And when you start your year off with something big like that, whatever big is relative to you, it used to be a half for me, but now it was a full. It just gives you momentum. Like it gives you a little bit of confidence to like, okay, what's next? And that's the part where I feel like you just got to act on it though. And that's exactly what I'm saying, what I'm currently in right now. It's like, I have that momentum. I know I can do it. I know I can run a marathon. I know I can train for it. All right, what's next? Like, and just figuring that out.
It is. I mean, that's why it's important that we run that half every February because it gives you, you start the year off right. You get like, something, an accomplishment done. You get a goal checked off the list. It builds a little momentum. It's the same thing. It's like we've known we're going to run London since maybe November, I think. I think we've known is when we signed up. And, it's nice having that. I mean, we've had that to look forward to.
I think, too, the other thing that I was thinking about in reflecting on this experience was that, and I fell in this camp, too, people undervalue the mindset and just the momentum that comes with some of this stuff. Like when you look to sign up on it, you always think of the negative. For sure. I did, too. Like, gosh, travel's gonna be crazy. It's expensive, like all this stuff, one thing and another. But I never once was thinking about the positive unless like you said something about the positive and you were like an anchor point for me. But it truly, like, it gives you so much momentum doing stuff like this.
Well, and the other thing too is like all of those negative things that you thought about, when you accomplish it, they all melt away.
Yeah. So whatever that goal is that people are thinking about, just go do it.
Well, at some point, I mean, like, it's the same thing whether we're talking about investing or anything. And I'm always like, man, you got to invest. I tell students, you got to invest. You got to buy something. You got to invest in something. The paralysis by analysis is real. I mean, that popsicle syndrome of like, I think I'm going to do this. At some point, you got to take the plunge and you just got to say, like, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to see how this feels. I'm going to see what's going on and just go for it. I mean, that's really because you don't have as much time as you think. Like I always think about that too with like these marathons. Like I have been very fortunate. My health has stayed up. Even though this time I had some injuries and things like that, but you're just not guaranteed that like your health is going to be available, that you're going to be able to travel internationally. Yeah. That's the thing is like, I mean, you don't know how many of these chances you're going to get. And so you got to take advantage of it. And while we were there, I mean, we did some fun stuff. We went and saw some museums. I mean, we went and, had some good dinners. I told Cameron, this will make the people, we went to a dinner like 2 nights before the marathon and it was a good dinner. And I said, man, this is a problem. And Cameron was like, what? I go, man, we're eating like we've already ran the race.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's just because I've been on the other side. I'm like, oh man.
I was thinking about that during the race. Yeah. Thinking like, oh, that glass of wine.
Yeah.
Oh, I shouldn't have had it.
But the thing is like, maybe our time would have been better and all that. But it's like, when are you going to get a chance to like go to some great restaurants in London, go through the city of London, great breakfast, good sightseeing. I had my daughters with me and my wife just trounced us in the marathon. But you just don't like, I don't care about my time. Like it's all about it's the experience. I mean, it's really about the experience. If I really wanted to try to run like my best marathon ever, like full marathon, I'd probably just do it in Fort Worth. Cause I could keep everything. I could probably set a personal record and I wouldn't be worried about like, looking at the sites and stuff. But I mean, when else am I going to get to run through a city like London with a police escort and go through neighborhoods I'll never get to go through again? Yeah.
No, that was the coolest part. But it's funny because, so the Cuddy Sark, the ship that you run around, right?
Yes.
This is my first marathon, so I got in the zone pretty good. I blacked out for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So a lot of the stuff I was looking forward to seeing, I don't remember seeing.
Yeah.
Because I was just straight tunnel vision thinking about, all right, 14 left, 13 left, 12 left.
Yeah, but at the end, you saw Big Ben, you saw Buckingham
That part
Palace.
was cool. That part was cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's also good to prove to yourself that you can do tough things. And it's also good to prove to yourself that, like, when it's just you on an island, that you can pull through for yourself. And a marathon teaches you that, because it literally is, you versus you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's the mental, it's the self-talk, half that, right? Because like I said, I think it was mile 17 or 18, that the self-talk was tough for me. But then you get to a point, I think, that you're like, I'm still one foot after another.
Yeah.
Like what?
Did you get angry at yourself? Were you like, why am I doing this?
So this is my biggest motivation now to run another one here soon, is because I wasn't angry at myself, but I didn't feel great about how I went into the race, because like I'd made a lot of amateur mistakes about like, okay, I didn't eat enough. I, should drink more water, whatever. And I just didn't calculate that into this problem. And I know for a fact I could have, because in my training, I did run better. I ran better.
Yeah.
And not even by a little bit, by a lot of bit. Right.
Yeah.
So having walked away from that marathon, like even when I finished, I was excited and I felt relief, but there was a part of me was like, oh, there was that.
I left so much. It could have been so much better.
I didn't have anything left in the tank because that was just how it played out. But like, I know my best self did not show up today.
Yeah. And that's okay, because you still clicked the goal. You still, accomplished it. And but that's kind of how life is. We always feel like that. We always feel like I could have saved a little bit more money. I could have done a little bit better here or whatever, but it's still about like that little bit of progress that you can make. And, that's how you put together your life. So many, I think of it kind of like kind of like life. Everybody is always thinking of the destination. Mm-hmm. So, when we talk about this, you think about finishing the marathon, but it's all the stuff that goes into it before you ever get there. It's all about the journey of actually making it happen. That's where all the good stuff is. The marathon and the finishing of it is the culmination of that, but it's really like all the choices that were made, all the Saturdays we got up and Cameron's like, what time are we going to run?
Yeah.
It's like
the old people. You're like, we're going to get up at 6.
We'll be there at 5:30.
Saturday morning at 6. Oh, y'all don't have a Friday night, huh?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Cameron's like, I picked the wrong running partners, man. But you get it done and you're like, man, I got my Saturday ahead of me, which is, after a 20-mile run is just laying on your back staring at the ceiling. But, it's good. So, I don't know. I'm happy you did it. I told Cameron I was really happy he did it, because I did not want to come back and him be like, how was the London Marathon? And me be like, oh, it was okay. Yeah. So I'm really glad that you took the plunge.
100. The medal's cool too. I'm a big fan of this medal. Is definitely different than Fort Worth or Austin.
Yeah, it's got some heft to it. It was the 45th anniversary of the London Marathon, so it's a pretty stout, cool medal, which definitely helps because they've had some duds. What was
your favorite part of the marathon, or the marathon itself, and then favorite part about London?
Favorite part about London, I like being there with my family. I like, we were there. The last time we were there was when I graduated with my doctorate. Mm-hmm. And so my daughters were that was 2018. So we're already talking 7 years.
Gosh.
So my daughters, instead of being 8, or my oldest daughter, instead of being 8 is now 15. And, and then my youngest from being 6 is now pretty close to 13. So we did some of the same stuff that we did, but now I know that they'll remember it. I really enjoyed going to the British Museum, Westminster Abbey, like all that family stuff was really neat. It was cool to be there with you to kind of show you like just different tricks about traveling international and like seeing you excited in a city for the first time, which is always cool. It's so cool to see that because like you don't really get to do that again, to kind of go somewhere international. So like that family time for me is so key because my life in 10 years looks a lot different. Mm-hmm. My life in 10 years is I have a daughter who's not 15, but she's 25 and another one that's 23. And, so you don't have as many of those opportunities as you think you have. So being able to do that And being in a place that I can do that, for me, is the part that's really kind of the gold for me. I mean, the running is good and all that, but like getting to see them and kind of do that is really the fun part for me.
That's cool.
As far as the marathon is concerned, I started cramping at mile 9, which that happened to me, and this is way too much to tell, but that happened to me like 10 years ago, and I've been petrified of that happening again. And it did happen again, which is my worst nightmare. But now I think that since it did, I kind of don't worry about it anymore. Like I probably won't have to worry about that again. I don't think, because I just kind of knew, like I fought it the first time it happened, and that was a massive disaster for me, like physically trying to fight through like leg cramps. And in London, I was just like, okay, like just enjoy the day. Don't try to push through it. So
good silver lining right there.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's just not going to be your day, but it doesn't mean it has to ruin your day. It doesn't mean it has to take the joy away. Yeah. And it did take the joy away. I'm not saying that. For about 5 miles, I was pretty mad for a little bit. I had some pretty negative self-talk, which is very rare for me. But for about 5 miles, I was pretty angry.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of was like, man, you're like kind of, jolted myself. I was like, man, you're in London. Like, enjoy this. Like, this isn't going to happen again.
Cheryl made a good point about that after the race, is that this one marathon isn't the end chapter. This is just a part of the book, right? Yeah. So it's like in this sport of running, especially at that distance, you need to be okay with that this is just going to be one chapter of the book and not the final.
Well, it's weird. I mean, you have days where you feel like you can go and you can run forever. Yeah. And then you have days where 3 miles feels like 30.
And even the elite runners happen, because I didn't know this, but you said that certain, sometimes they'll go 5-6 miles in the race, and if they know, because they've done so much running, that this is going to be a good day or not, and they will just back out. Yeah. Because they don't want to waste the energy on it.
Yeah. They don't want to.
And they're like the number one. They're elite runners. They do this for a living.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. So while we were gone, I would like to point out, this is one of the first times I've traveled in a number of times where the market actually did well. And so we have companies reporting. You and I can do another podcast about that. But, I still think the market we've come off the lows. We're way off the lows for the market. And now we're going to have, I think for the market to go any higher, we're going to have some good news on tariffs or some kind of news. Otherwise, I still think we're going to be range bound. I do not think we're out of the woods on this at all.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I mean, we had Amazon and Apple report yesterday. So we're recording this on Friday, May 2nd. And, Apple said that they really can't give guidance past June. Everything I've read is that all the stuff coming to the ports right now is all the stuff that's basically the last stuff that doesn't have tariffs attached to it. So that inventory is probably going to only last about 4 to 6 more weeks. So if you're looking at your portfolio and there's some things you thought that you bought high, this might be the time to maybe trim out of those positions, raise some cash, and then if the market goes back down, you'll have some money to deploy.
Yeah. So we got some, Palantir reports Monday.
Palantir reports Monday. We got Mercado Libre next week. And Palantir has run way up into the quarter. When we started recording this, they're about $123 a share. They've recovered. They were 74. I mean, they've bounced around. So it has been a nice recovery. It's just, can we sustain it? I think there's a lot of optimism, that a lot of this is going to get worked out in those numbers. And I'm not saying that it won't, but I'm saying that the market usually overshoots. So we were probably too pessimistic, a couple of weeks ago. Now we might be a little optimistic, because the market is, if you look at the oscillator, it's now considered overbought. But I think we were probably a little too pessimistic. Now we might be a little too optimistic, but we'll kind of see where we end up.
I agree. Yeah.
So any final thoughts on London on marathon day?
Just, I guess if I was somebody that had a goal and I haven't done it yet this year, go for it, because just the feeling of completing one feels really good.
What was the hardest part for you? Not the marathon, but just like, I don't know, like the whole like training, all of that. Was there any piece that felt hard, or just kind of what you expected, or?
I had a great coach for the training. So Cheryl with the plan set it up well, that there was never a part where I was like, this is terrible. So it wasn't the hard, because it was a gradual increase.
Yeah.
I think probably the most difficult part was just coming to terms with that I'm going to do this, signing up.
Yeah.
That was the most difficult part.
Yeah.
The training really wasn't that bad.
You did pretty good. Like once you made up your mind to like spend the money to do it.
Oh, I'm all in.
Yeah, because then it was
Especially
like,
if there's money involved, I'm all in. I'm from around the way. I'm getting my value out of this.
right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it's, it was like you did spend a good amount of money on the race. And it's like, man, but it's nice too, because like things that are free, people don't put value on. And
They
like,
do not.
So, I mean, you commit financially and then you had to follow it up physically. So, I mean, but that is like, it's like, man, am I really going to spend this much money? But I mean, it's it's one of those things. I still go back to this. Like, I think about things this way, but you just don't get too many chances in your life to do things like this. Like you think you're going to.
Yeah.
In your mind, I think in our mind, we think that we're going to have the opportunity to do this thing, this kind of stuff. And you really do not get that many chances.
There was a video that I saw on Instagram. It was like a running coach, and their student, I guess, or whatever, is running the London Marathon, and he's running with her, right? Like he's off to the side, like trying to motivate her because it's mile 16 or whatever, and she's, in a tough spot. And he said, at some day in your life, you will not be able to do this, but today is not that day.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, that's good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where when you're looking back at your life one day and you can, I mean, something, like we talked, like something nobody can take away from you. I mean, it's like, I did that. I trained, and so you have to use those opportunities. And I think that's what like you have to think about is just, you have to remind yourself of that because it's so easy we all get into routines. Yeah. And it's like this kind of stuff like breaks up the routine, pushes you a little bit and like keeps you motivated and keeps you going. And it's one of those things when you sign up, it's all about hype and all that. But that's the thing. It's the hype, the motivation, like might get you to sign up, but that ain't going to get you through training. Like you have to follow that you have to like that discipline and the consistency is what has to show up in order to make it happen.
I think the thing that helped me most with that was, that plan that Cheryl made, she made it on Excel. I just printed that damn thing out and I taped it to my door, in my bedroom to my bathroom, the door that I walk through every morning, right? And I look through it and I have a Sharpie on it. Every run, I will check it off. You got to have an anchor like that or something.
Yeah, you got to have something that like, that pulls you.
Yeah.
You have to have something that pulls you. So, well, that is our London update, everybody. Sorry. I did get a little sick on the way back. That's our London update. And we hope you set some goals for yourself, sign up for something big, challenge yourself. And as always, don't mistake activity for achievement. And we will see you next time. Thanks, everybody. This podcast contains general information that may not be suitable for everyone. The information contained here should not be construed as personalized investment advice. There is no guarantee that the views and opinions expressed in this podcast will come to pass. Investing in the stock market involves gains and losses and may not be suitable for all investors. Information presented here is subject to change without notice and should not be considered as a solicitation to buy or sell any securities. Ryder Equities Incorporated does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstances. Past performance is no guarantee of future results.